At the end of the time of the judges, there lived a couple named Elkanah and Hannah, who had no children. Every day Hannah would pray before the Lord, asking for a son. "If you bless us with a son," she would say, "we will dedicate him to you. He will serve you and lead the people back to you." Even though people thought she was pretty weird for asking this every single day, God heard her prayers, and Elkanah and Hannah were blessed with a baby boy. They named him Samuel, and they dedicated him to the service of God. When Samuel was a boy, he began his work for God. He lived with Eli, the high priest, at the tent of meeting, the special place where God's people would gather for worship and to be in God's presence. Samuel's parents were very proud of the work their son was doing, and every year his mom would make him an outfit that matched that of Eli, the high priest. One night, as Samuel slept, he heard someone call his name. "Samuel," it said. Samuel got up and ran to Eli, who was asleep as well, and said, "Here I am. You called?" Eli, in his sleepiness, said, "I didn't call you, Samuel. Go back to bed." So he did. But a second time, as Samuel slept, a voice called out his name. "Samuel," it said. Again, he ran to Eli. "Here I am," he said again to Eli. And again Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back to bed." So he did. For a third time, his name was called in the night, and for a third time, Samuel ran off to Eli. This time, however, Eli realized that it was God who had been calling Samuel. "Go back to bed," he said. "Lie down, and when the Lord calls you again, say, 'Speak, your servant is listening.'" Samuel followed Eli's instructions and went back to bed. God did call Samuel again, and this time Samuel answered, "Here I am, Lord. Your servant is listening." God told Samuel that a change was coming. A message was coming that would make the ears of all of Israel tingle, and that he had a part to play. From that day on, Samuel was able to hear the voice of God and know what should be done about it. And as a man, he was somebody who was well respected among God's people. God made sure that when Samuel spoke, people would listen. And everyone agreed he was a messenger from God, someone sent to bring them back to him. And they did. They were reminded that God had not left them. He was not abandoning them. He loved them. And through Samuel, they were reminded that God's love is overflowing.